Ini amazing. Karena saya juga kemarin saya mengikuti satu program seminar tentang bisnis Amazon dengan teman-teman di Jakarta yang mereka punya produk sama itu. Mereka juga sedang menjaring teman-teman Indonesia supaya mereka bisa ikut bisnis Amazon. Nah, kita harapkan dari pertemuan ini teman-teman Mbak Rasya dan teman-teman kita IAA sedang mencoba mengkonekkan dot-dot yang ada ini supaya nyambung, sehingga kita sebagai diaspora bisa berkreasi dalam kegiatan ekonomi ini. Seperti kita ketahui bahwa saya tadi membaca informasi dari KBRI bahwa ada informasi bahwa sejak bulan Februari kemarin itu pengangguran di Amerika itu sudah mencapai sekitar 3,5%. Nah, sekarang ini laporan April itu sudah mencapai 14,7. Nah, untuk itu kita sebagai masyarakat diaspora di Amerika, bagaimana kita bisa bekerja sama supaya saling membangun kegiatan ekonomi sambil kita merangkul teman-teman kita yang ada di Indonesia untuk kita bisa bekerja sama. Entah itu nanti bentuknya dalam bisnis dengan Amazon, di mana nanti Mbak Rasya sama Bung Daniel akan bercerita banyak di sini, atau mungkin kegiatan yang lain. Nah, disinilah perannya IAA bagian Resource Business Group ini. Kita sedang mencoba mencari alternatif apa yang baik yang bisa kita lakukan bersama di Amerika ini. Saya juga diinformasikan, saya mau coba sedikit bahwa di Washington di sini ada sekitar 23 perusahaan yang dimiliki orang Indonesia. Kemarin saya berbicara dengan teman-teman Chamber of Commerce Indonesian Philly itu, mereka mempunyai 29 orang Indonesia yang punya bisnis. Nah, ini nanti suatu saat kita akan gabungkan bersama, belum ditambah dengan New York dan sebagainya. Coba kita bikin satu kreasi bisnis yang lebih baik lagi. Baiklah Mbak Rasya, nanti Mbak Rasya bisa ceritakan kegiatan bisnis dengan Amazon itu, dan kemudian nanti saya akan bertanya beberapa pertanyaan, dan setelah itu nanti teman-teman bisa bertanya. Di akhir acara nanti saya akan nyampaikan bahwa di seri ketiga nanti, Mas, bagaimana kedua orang ini, yang satu punya 10 restoran, yang satu punya 4 salwe, bagaimana mereka mengelola, bagaimana mereka mulai membeli restoran, kemudian mengelola sehingga restoran itu sekarang eksis. Terima kasih, Mbak Rasya. Selamat bergabung, dan monggo ceritakan secara rileks saja.
Santai aja nih, ngobrol santai.
Ya.
Oke, jadi Assalamualaikum buat teman-teman. Selamat sore teman-teman yang ada di US. Selamat pagi buat teman-teman yang Indonesia. Makasih banyak udah gabung. Saya juga makasih banyak buat Indonesian American Associate, Mas Rahmat, Mas Oscar, Mbak Dwitra. Ini benar-benar jempol banget deh. Organize ini. Bantu teman-teman komunitas bisnis. Jadi mungkin ada yang udah kenal atau pernah ngelihat kita gitu, nggak asing saya sama Daniel mungkin, karena tahun 2015 kalau nggak salah itu kita sempat bantu Imam Center, Daniel ngajar buat mu'alaf. Jadi mungkin ada yang nggak asing ngelihat mukanya gitu nanti. Jadi saya perkenalkan, nama saya Rasya Okif, saya pemilik 3 line bisnis dan salah satunya adalah Amazon. Mungkin saya lebih ke kepemilikan ya, mungkin lebih ke ownership daripada actionnya, karena actionnya itu lebih banyak ke suami. Nanti beliau juga ada di sini, nanti bisa bantu menjelaskan mungkin lebih detailnya, karena lebih banyak Daniel yang sourcing dan sebagainya gitu. Jadi bisnis yang kita jalanin di sini itu kita udah berjalan selama 5 tahun ya, dari tahun 2015. Jadi diawali sih sebenarnya nggak sengaja. Waktu itu di tahun 2014 Daniel ada di grup Facebook yang waktu itu sebenarnya nggak ada hubungannya sama Amazon, tiba-tiba di-add ke grup Amazon gitu loh. Terus Daniel mulai belajar-belajar, cari tahu. Di akhir, I think it's Desember, akhir 2014 kita mulai sourcing, mulai kirim untuk perdana pengiriman barang kita itu 45 item itu kita seperti orang baru jualan ya, jadi ngeliatin app-nya gitu, kapan kejual gitu. Jadi benar-benar yang excited gitu, kapan kejual nih barangnya gitu. Dari situ kita mulai sourcing buat barang yang agak lumayan untungnya. Akhirnya tahun itu juga kita putusin kita mau full time untuk di Amazon ini. Jadi kita benar-benar put serious money ya. Jadi modal ya, jemput modal lah istilahnya, naruh modal gitu. Jadi mulai kita packing itu 1.000 per minggu. Jadi kita mulai packing 1.000 per minggu, itu pastinya ada perbedaan antara 45 item terus kita balik jadi 1.000, itu pasti ada perbedaan dari segi untungnya atau segi pendapatan gitu. Jadinya dari situ kita terus kembangin, nggak cuma yang kita jual, nggak cuma kalau dulu kan kita jual itu toy, groceries, health product, beauty, clothes. Kita juga sempat ada private label. Jadi benar-benar kita kembangin. Kalau untuk sekarang itu kita lebih fokus lebih ke sporting good. Jadi lebih ke sana. Untuk untuk produk yang disebutin tadi sama Mas Rahmat itu, kita itu udah jual lebih dari 10.000 macam barang dari 5 tahun belakangan ini. Jadi boleh dibilang macam-macam gitu. Dan dari mulai 5 tahun itu semua di packing, maksudnya kita kirim dari rumah kan, kita packing, kita kirim ke Amazon. Nanti Amazon yang akan mendeliver ke customer kan. Itu kita packing sendiri sampai akhirnya kita pernah juga pakai prep service juga, dan terakhir ini kita pakai 2 orang untuk bantu packing, itu juga masih part time ya, nggak full time, jadi kayak paling hanya sehari 2 hari datang gitu, jadi nggak full time. Jadi boleh dibilang bisnis Amazon ini benar-benar bisnis yang asik, dan asiknya tuh karena nggak take time gitu loh, took very little time buat kita. Jadi kita hanya kerja, paling saya kerja seminggu tuh 10 jam kali ya gitu. Itu karena saya packing ya, karena kan sekarang lagi pandemik, jadi saya nggak bisa, orang yang bantu kita buat packing kan nggak bisa datang, jadi kita packing sendiri. Itu juga cuma 10 jam, suami mungkin lah 15 atau. Jadi bener-bener kayak pensiunan ya, menurut saya sih kayak bisnis orang pensiun gitu. Jadi bangun siang ngelihat app Amazon, oh penjualan kita segini gitu. Mungkin lebih ke itu kali ya, yang benar-benar dinikmatin dari bisnis Amazon. Terus kalau menurut saya sih bisnis Amazon ini, kalau saya sama suami ini bisa ngejalaninnya, dan kita setelah kita ada bisnis Amazon ini, karena kita punya banyak waktu, kita buka punya 2 line bisnis lainnya karena kita punya banyak waktu kan. Dan saya yakin teman-teman yang ada di sini yang punya jam terbangnya lebih dari kita untuk pengolahan bisnis, untuk komitmen, untuk kesabaran, pasti bisa ngejalaninnya juga gitu. Jadi saya berharap ada manfaatnya dari hari ini. Jadi nanti kita bisa sama-sama berkembang untuk memulai bisnis di Amazon. Saya dan Daniel insya Allah siap bantu.
Sebelum dilanjutkan Mbak Rasya, tadi Mbak Rasya bilang bahwa bisnis ini bisnis yang santai, relax, kemudian cuman 10 jam per minggu, 15 yang Pak Mas Daniel cuman 15, sangat mengasihkan tuh ya. Nanti mungkin akan kita tanya lebih jauh lagi. Tapi Mbak Rasya ketika memulai itu kira-kira memulainya berapa banyak bisnis yang diinvest startingnya waktu itu? Boleh nggak cerita itu?
Mungkin nanti ke itunya Daniel ya.
Oh, oke. Oke, kalau memang
Mungkin
ke Daniel.
karena lebih ke berapanya, saya lebih ke mungkin Daniel bisa bantu.
Oke,
Ah,
tadi Mas Daniel kan ngomong nanti di teknisnya
iya,
Amazon ya.
iya,
Tadi kan
iya,
Mbak Rasya bilang punya 3 line of business tadi
iya,
ya.
iya, betul.
Jadi selain Amazon apa lagi?
Kita punya toko matras, mungkin
Oh,
lebih
oke.
toko kasur ya kalau di Indonesia,
Oh,
toko kasur gitu. Yang lainnya kita jual alat berat.
oh, wow,
Jadi
alat berat
lebih
ya.
ya, tapi kalau untuk saat ini mungkin karena nggak bisa ya orang ke toko dan segala
Ya,
macam
ya,
ya,
ya.
jadi lebih
Oke,
ke
jadi
Amazon.
waktu yang tersisa tadi digunakan untuk menjual matras sama alat-alat berat.
Iya,
Mungkin nanti tentang matras sama alat berat di line berikutnya ya.
ya
Kita
boleh,
bisa ngobrol
boleh.
lagi. Oke, oke. Mungkin kita tanya dengan Mas
Ya.
Daniel. Mas Daniel,
Yes,
where are you?
I'm right here.
I didn't see you.
Um, well, I'm one of the people that's in the group.
Oh, in the group, yeah. Okay. Could you tell us about your experience on the business, this kind of Amazon? Please tell to everyone what is your experience.
Okay. Well, myself and my wife Rasya have been doing this for about 5 years. I know she's already explained this to everybody.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what she just said to everybody since I don't speak Bahasa. I apologize for that. But I'll try to fill in, and then obviously there might be a little bit of redundancy, but I can go over all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been doing it for it's been almost 5.5 years now. I started it really as a part-time thing, as my wife mentioned. In December of 2014, I was looking to start a business. I had actually looked into some other businesses, and everything in business is basically relative to your location and also relative to whether or not you think that it's something that you'd be interested in. And when I first started with Amazon, it was complete fluke. It was a complete mistake. I don't even know how it even happened, to be honest with you. I think I was in a real estate investment group or something like this, and somebody threw me into an Amazon Facebook group. I don't know who it was. Maybe one of my friends. I have no idea. But they threw me into the group, and I was thinking what the heck is this stuff? And I had a job at the time, and but I was getting tired of working for other people and having a boss tell me what to do all the time, and I felt like they were honestly holding me back anyway. I just had to fit into their conformity of what I had to do. So I started looking more into it, and then I started to realize that this is a real business model. I never really gave it much thought. I've been an Amazon customer for, I think, since 2000. I was a customer since the year 2000. And I never really gave it much thought as to who was actually selling me what they were selling me on Amazon. I never really thought, is it actually Amazon? Is it actually somebody else? I never gave it any thought. And then, I started to realize that this is a real thing. There's people making millions and tens of millions of dollars doing this. And I started to recognize that there was an entire community out there. And so, talking with all of you today, I mean, basically, I don't think I'm going to try to do anything more than help people. If somebody wants to come to me and they want to approach me for coaching or something like that, I do coaching. If they want to do that, but I can set them in the right direction and help them out or whatnot. But I mean, a lot of this is going to be up to the person who'd be doing it. This is not something, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not something where you think you're just going to be able to make a ton of money just automatically. You have to be able to do it. There's a lot of details involved with this. This is a logistics operation. And you have to be able to figure out what you're going to be sourcing, where you're going to be sourcing it. All these types of things create different business with different sellers. So the way that I make money is very different than the way my friend might make his money. We're in an entire community, and getting to know people and even doing things like what we're doing right now of talking with other people and making people aware. This is one of the things that makes it possible to do well in this business. There's actually a very low amount of people who actually sign up for becoming sellers on Amazon who succeed. It's so low that it's actually, as I understand it, I think it's like maybe 3 or 4% of people actually succeed at it. And so you have to be able to share this information with other people. You know, and when you do that, I mean, it comes back to you. You basically, you find new deals with other people, you partner with people. This is not the type of thing where you should think. One of the things I like about the Amazon community, at least the Americans that I deal with, is that they have a mentality of bounty. Like a lot of them believe that if they just help other people and they do things to do good, that it'll just come back to them. Maybe, you know, the Japanese idea of karma, or, you know, as Muslims believe, you know, that things will just come back to you in a good way. So, I mean, there's a very strong mentality like that amongst the entrepreneurs. With that being said, I'm going to go over some of the details, and of course, I'm going to be opening this all up to questions. People want to ask me questions. I'm available for that. Okay. So, you know, what I'll start out with right now is, if you're going to start an Amazon business, you're going to have to figure out what type of model you want to actually work from. There are multiple models, and, you know, Amazon itself, I think they do recognize these models, and I know that they actually do send their people into our Facebook forums and stuff like that, and they actually spy on us and stuff. We're all aware of that. But, you know, the models of how you make the money all vary in quite a wide variety of ways. The first one that I'm going to talk about, there's about 5 that I'll talk about today. The first one is one of my personal favorites. That's why I mentioned it as the first one. It's called the retail arbitrage. And if everybody here is familiar with arbitrage as a definition, arbitrage simply means taking something in one market, you buy at a lower price, and putting it into another market, and pocketing the difference. And you can do this like in massive scale with it. And, you know, one of the things that people like about it is that it's a very high margin. You would not expect that, but it actually is a very high margin type of way of making profit. It's also probably the most fun. My wife and I, you know, I think we've enjoyed going out and going shopping. I mean, I think my wife is more into shopping than I am. But before I even became an Amazon purchaser, I hardly ever did anything related. I was a regular, typical, stereotypical man. If I wanted something, I would just go grab it at the Dillard's. I would grab it and I'd walk out the door with it. I wouldn't even like look around the store. I wouldn't be shopping around. Now we spend time and we do it like as a business. And so over 5 years, we've developed it to the point where you can we know where to go and buy things. So we've saved a lot of time, and then we can also make a lot of money just off of stores that are around where we live. I mean, it's amazing. So, you know, I don't think anymore when I'm going out like that, oh, this is going to cost me $100. I think about, you know, this is going to make me $100. And so it's a different mentality. But anyway, the fun thing about it is that it's kind of like going like treasure hunting. And I think that's the thing a lot of people would actually consider to be the funnest part, or the funnest aspect of it, is because you don't know what you're going to find, and you don't know how much money you're going to make. And you usually, most of the time, the more you do it, the better you get at it. Just like anything, it takes practice. And so the more you do it, and the more you're familiar with the tools that are necessary, the more money you can make with it. Now we've become extremely efficient. When I first started, I started at a Walmart, and it was around Christmas time. And I think I found like one product, and I was really frustrated. And then I took it home. It was a grocery product. It was just some candy or something like that. And I took it home, and then I realized I can't even sell grocery at the time. And they were locking down grocery. And so I was very frustrated. I returned it to Walmart. And that's one of the things I would say to anyone who's going to be starting into something like this model. Do not get frustrated with it. It's something that you have to actually develop, and it takes time, and you put effort and energy into it. And so, you know, that's one of the things one of my mentors told me was, if you're going to basically do this particular model, you either need a lot of money or you need a lot of time. And, you know, or you can do a mixture of both. And so the retail arbitrage model is great. It's fun, but it's not for everybody. The next model that I'm going to talk about is very similar to the retail arbitrage model. It's an online arbitrage model. It's almost the same thing, except that you're just purchasing things on your computer. and you can purchase things from all the different stores, since obviously all these stores are now on the internet. And you can basically use different types of software tools that are available to do comparisons. You can actually, we call it scraping the internet. Basically, there's software tools such as tactical arbitrage. Tactical arbitrage will allow you to be able to go deep into the catalog inside of a website, and it'll pull, over a period of hours, it'll pull out entire Excel spreadsheets of products that are selling on Amazon and the same products that are selling in that store, and you can figure out the difference in the price very fast. And so you don't even have to physically do it yourself. You can actually just set up the software to do it. I don't personally even do that. That's actually even too much work for me. I figured out ways to do it even cheaper than that and faster and easier. And so, you know, I basically do those types of things. I would probably get into that with somebody if they were to take me aside or something. Model and one of the things I forgot to mention about the online arbitrage model is that the online arbitrage model allows you to purchase from anywhere in the world. So you could purchase anywhere in the world. I know that my wife was telling me, she was with you, you know, if you work with a packing company like Toronto, then they'll pack it up for you, just their warehouse, and they'll pack it and send it into Amazon for you. And usually if you're purchasing, you know, decent enough profitable items, it should easily pay for itself. So, you know, if my wife and I wanted to leave the area where we live, go overseas, we could easily do that. And we could just purchase, in fact, we've done that before. We were in Indonesia last year. I was still purchasing things on the computer, and, you know, it was easy. It wasn't a hard thing. The next model is probably one most people think is more familiar, that you think of in terms of a regular retail purchasing process, and that is wholesale. Wholesale is a low margin, typically, a low margin, hopefully high turn rate product. So good things to sell in wholesale are groceries, health products, beauty products, things that people use in a frequent manner. I can tell you that typically grocery products, if you're purchasing it from a place like Walmart, if you're purchasing it from your local grocery store, those are usually low margin products that they know that they're turning over quickly. With us, you can basically, with Amazon, in all honesty, Amazon's prices are much higher than what you would find in the rest of the marketplace. And I think that Amazon actually kind of caters to people like I used to be, where they're not really too familiar with the market, or they're not located near a city, or they're just lazy and they don't want to go out to the store themselves and get it. And so they order it on Amazon, and the prices are much higher. So the margins are much higher for you as a seller. And so that's one of the benefits of it. It's not a high volume type of thing, but with wholesale it can be. So there's different ways of manipulating it and getting it to be the way that you want it to be. The next one that I'm actually going to talk about a little bit, very briefly, is private label. Private label is something that we've dabbled in, private label toys. And the thing about private label, first of all, I mean, it's interesting in the stage where you're actually going and finding the product, but I also honestly find it slightly boring. It's once you've actually got your product in, it's set up, automated. If you've got the capital intensive, it is the most capital intensive of all the different models because it requires quite a large purchase up front. And when you're dealing with the factories, you want minimum order quantities of 5 or 10,000 of the product and get them down, if you're dealing with trade companies, down to 500 or 1,000 or something like that. But you know, private label, usually you can get from trading companies, from factories. We've done some business in China. In the forwarding goods a lot more than we did with the products that we were dealing with, and the amount of risk is higher when you're dealing with private label, because private label, you know, as I know all of you were talking about last time this was happening, last time this call was happening, there was the discussion talking about it regarding sales rank. And sales rank on Amazon is the key of figuring out what sells. But if you're selling private label, you may be bringing a completely new product to market, effective and very, very lucrative. It can also And so my personal recommendation to anybody that wants to would be to do similar to the model that I did. Now I'm extremely familiar with Amazon, of dealing with them. They close accounts frequently, which means that they ban people because they're not following their terms of service. There was a gentleman a few years ago that I had helped, and I basically just showed him what to do and sat down with him for a couple of hours and taught him what to do. And if he had continued to talk with me, I could have told him not to do the things that he did. I actually found out about it through a third party, and so this is one of the things that why it's so important to work with other people privately. It's something that I can help people with, but it's not just starting out of the gate. It's a very advanced aspect of doing business on Amazon, and it is something that coming as a factory or somebody is coming as a trading company, they could really hurt themselves if they don't do business on Amazon the right way. That I want to talk about is very briefly, it's something people would be shocked, I think, to know that you could actually do. And I've done it quite profitably in the past. I do it not too active in it. It's selling Amazon to Amazon. You can actually buy things from Amazon itself. As a lot of people know, about half of all sales are being done by Amazon, the company, and the other half is being done by small third-party sellers such as us. And what can happen is that using tools and using some other software programs, you can when Amazon is going to go out of stock on a high-profile item. And when that happens, following market trends, you can have a large markup, especially around Christmas time. I remember specifically in December of 2018, there was a toy product. It's kind of a large toy product. And we purchased it from Amazon for about $40 each, and we were selling them for about $200 each. And they sold out, and they sold out very fast. I think I bought about 80 or 90 of them, and a lot of other sellers did the same thing. And so we received them at our house, and then we slapped labels on them and sent them to Amazon. And we made about, I think we made like somewhere between $4,000 or $5,000 that way in a month, very easily on one product. And so it's a fun thing to do, but you have to do it the right way. You can get burned; it's not 100%. But I would say overall, it's a way to make a business, and there are actually even groups of sellers that are dedicated to share this information with each other. They sell it, of course, at a premium. To be able to get into these groups, they charge fees and stuff like that to be able to get in and get this information. But they do save you time, and there is a lot of ways to be able to follow these trends and be able to make money off of Amazon just by Amazon itself. Kind of amazing. So those are the types of business models that I know that people are actually working on. One of the things I would say to anybody who's actually looking started in this is, first you probably want to determine your goals. Is this something that you just want to do a job, like a part-time supplement? I did something like that, and I did it for about 5 or 6 months until I quit and we went full-time. And then my wife, very supportive, and she's been my partner throughout all of this. And I made her the business owner. She's the business owner. I'm just the guy who does the labor. And she basically, though she can work, and she's got a brilliant mind in terms of coming up with private label ideas. She was better at that than me. We were very successful with a number of the to one point that was ranked around 2,000, which is a very low rank, which is a very fast-selling toy. We were selling about 50 of them per day, and we had some issues with regards to getting them tested for safety, and we did that, but we didn't continue to pursue that. So I guess what I'm saying is you have to determine your goals. You're going to have to determine if you want to, basically have as a part-time supplement. You want to turn it into a full-time business for yourself. If you turn it into a full-time business, are you looking, what are your goals? For instance, I was talking about with you, Rahmat, this yesterday about our goals are simply lifestyle business. We're not trying to become like millionaires like some people. We can change our minds in the future, but we have a lot of children right now, very small children. And so, it's more of a lifestyle business for us. We like to spend time with our family. And we don't have to work a lot. I don't think we're working that much. Maybe we're working 20 hours a week, if that. And sometimes, like during the coronavirus, when it first came out, we made more money because everybody was buying their stuff on Amazon than we ever made before, and we did zero work for the entire first month that it first started. And so, you know, this is the beautiful thing about dealing with fulfillment by Amazon, is that a lot of this fulfillment and customer service can be handled by Amazon itself, and all you have to do is just focus on actually finding the products and making the money. You don't have to deal with human beings. You can just deal with numbers, and you can deal with things that are, you know, that are fun to basically make money on. And so that's something to think about. If you do decide to go in a big route in terms of making a lot of money and making millions of dollars, that's possible for anybody who actually sets their mind to it. I think if they've got the knowledge and they have the market knowledge, it's definitely something that's very possible. So that's something to consider for anybody else. It's definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme. So, you know, you'll just have to decide that for yourself. In terms of capital, that's probably the biggest issue for any business, especially for a business that's related to inventory. Having enough capital, I think that's one of the things people have to figure out if they don't have access to capital. You know, is you start up a business, and then of course setting up your business structure, doing business in the United States. It's definitely possible for foreign corporations to do that. You know, I don't recommend it for individual people, but you can definitely set up a maybe more business structure, and you know, you can talk to a lawyer, and basically they can do that. And once you get that set up, and you get your EIN number from the federal government and the IRS here in the U.S., you should be able to work with Amazon. They do that all the time. They deal with a lot of foreign, especially Chinese sellers, do that a lot. So, you know, I don't know how I'm doing on time here. Am I going over?
But it's okay.
Okay.
Bung Daniel. Bung Daniel, thank you so much. Before I let to the audience their own question, I have this one question. First of all, I'm interested with when you explain to me about the Excalibur and then buying from Amazon to Amazon. That's so interesting. That's one of the strategy to do business. Very simple in my perspective. But I have a question. To do this business, do you have a partner with Indonesia, or maybe if there are Indonesian people who like to partner with you? Is that
well, we're always open to that. You know, we're always looking at the marketplace. So if somebody has something that they want to try to sell to us, we'll listen to you, and we'll definitely talk with you and see what you have to offer. And we'll examine the Amazon marketplace and see if it's something that might be a fit. We have actually tried to do that in the past with some of my wife's friends. They ran into, on their side, they ran into some problems. We were looking at some bamboo, I think it was footstool.
They here.
Are they here?
They here. They join with us. Yeah. They join.
So they ran into some issues on their side, and we were discussing that with them, and so we were not able to get that rolling. Definitely, we've made some attempts in the past, but there's so many different opportunities out there that, you know, we didn't chase it down too hard. If the opportunity presents itself, of course, we're available.
Okay then. Okay, so I'll let to everyone. There is a question on the chat. Have you you have to do multiple business items to try what is the best selling at your store, or if it is specific strategy, should we do that at the Amazon?
Well, I mean, one of the things I would advise to anybody when you first start is, and I apologize, I'm a little bit bad on the information with regards to what new sellers are actually available to sell right now. I know it's different than when I did it. I can basically sell almost anything now. In fact, even if something is brand restricted, like now Amazon does brand restrictions, most of the time if I apply to do it, they don't even request anything from me. And that's because of our history. Now, in terms of what sells best and fastest, if I was getting started, honestly, I'd probably do grocery items. And the reason why is grocery items are quick sellers. They're obviously consumables. And I believe that every seller now can come on and sell groceries. When I first started in 2014 and 15, that was restricted. It was gated, as they call it. And so I had to work on getting ungated on it. I had to work on that. Beauty were also two gated categories. And I don't know about now. Health may be open. I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, I mean, basically there is I would say grocery and then probably health and beauty products. Beauty might be restricted. I'm not sure.
Oke. Oke, thank you Pak Daniel. Teman-teman, Mbak Rasya sama Pak Daniel ini punya komposisi bisnisnya itu 65% itu penjualan sport and clothing sama shoes, 5% itu untuk ke toys. Kemudian sisanya adalah barang-barang kecantikan. Menarik sekali untuk bagi teman-teman yang ingin belajar lebih jauh tentang Amazon, karena dia punya beberapa variasi produk yang, dan dia memang strongnya di sport clothing and shoes.
So you can, Daniel, you can answer directly.
Is there any question? Maybe you can talk directly to Mbak Rasya or to Pak Daniel. Teman-teman Indonesia yang mau nanya, silakan. Tapi sebentar, mungkin silakan, monggo. Saya Mas Oscar bisa open to.
How do you get your suppliers and drop shipping?
Okay.
I'm glad you asked this question.
All right, let me go up and I'll scroll up here and take a look.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, so there was a question here from Agus Wong. I guess this was about 20 minutes ago. How do you get your suppliers and drop shipping? I'm glad you asked this question. By Amazon, I'm not saying people can't use drop shipping as a business model, but I would never, ever do drop shipping onto Amazon customers. I might drop ship from Amazon to another business model like eBay or something like that, but I would never actually, in fact, I know eBay sellers do that, but drop shipping suppliers, you know, it depends on the model you're obviously choosing, August. So you can, if you're doing private label, you know, it's very easy to go to a place like Alibaba if you don't mind sourcing off of China. I personally can't stand China, but there's nothing you can do about it for now. And I can't dealing with the Chinese government so much. But the suppliers off of there, you can still buy from them. You can still basically deal with them. And there's all types of things for that for private label. There's actually a specific thing that we don't have time to talk about here, and honestly, it would be something I would teach somebody if they were doing some coaching with me, of how to actually determine what types of products. It's much more involved. I mean, you have to be able to find market trends. You can use things like Instagram and Pinterest and find things that are coming out. And then you can also look at, you know, just go on to, for instance, just yesterday, I went onto a website for beauty products, and they were having a sale of buy two, get one free, and I found some of their products, and I saw that it was a beauty product with it was an okay sales rank. It was not selling too fast, but not too slow, and I bought 9 of them, and for every one that I purchased, it cost, I think, $9 or $10, and I'm basically selling them for, so I'll make like maybe $15 or $16 off of that. So finding your suppliers really just depends on your business model, and really just depends on you. I mean, getting the information of where to find these suppliers, talking with people who have experience. You know, I've mentioned the coaching, but you can also just, you don't have to even go to me. I mean, if you actually become active like I did on Facebook, I mean, it takes a lot more time, but if you put the energy and effort into it, you can join a lot of different Facebook groups. You don't have to pay any money to anybody, including me, and you can basically get all types of information. The only thing is that obviously just save a lot of time, a lot of energy and effort if you work with somebody who's already been doing it for a long time. Now,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead. The next question that I see here, oh, you mentioned also ship by Amazon, i.e. renting their warehouse space. So, in all honesty, I think it's probably cheaper to just find other places to rent warehouse space. I mean, shipping by Amazon using FBA is a great product thing. You know, Amazon even used to be able to allow people to drop ship from them. Now they got this thing where they still allow it, but it comes in an Amazon box, which might not be that great of a customer service experience if the customer is realizing that what they actually bought from you came from Amazon, unless that's disclosed to them at first. Sometimes, if you're working with Shopify. Shopify, if you guys are familiar with Shopify, You can run your own website, and you can add your fulfillment using Amazon's FBA. They have the software tied in there on the back end with Amazon, and so it's a great fulfillment way to do it. And usually that's already disclosed on the Shopify website, so it allows people to do that. One thing I would also give it an air of caution to people. I've been dealing with this a lot over the past 2 years, especially the past year. If you're going to, one of the nice things that happened in the past couple of years, 2018, regarding sales tax. Sales tax is an important issue. Sales tax, basically, if you're having a marketplace facilitator such as Amazon take care of your sales tax, which is what they're doing for most of the states now, you're fine as long as you don't go and start going and selling stuff on multiple platforms. What do I mean by this? I mean going over to Walmart and selling on Walmart, having a Shopify website. Sales tax is actually kind of a nightmare for smaller sellers. There's a lot of red tape and logistics issues related to figuring out what county was holding what and remitting. Sometimes it costs more money to actually file the paperwork than to actually pay the actual tax. It's kind of ridiculous. So I'd recommend people to be careful in terms of their legal liability for this. If you're doing Amazon, just stick to Amazon specifically until you're ready to move on, because there may be a little bit, especially with the state of California, they're very aggressive. And so I would just give a word of caution to people. And the next question.
Pak Daniel.
Yeah.
Before you continue, sorry, I have to take a little bit. On the other side is Mr. Wija, is the trade attaché. He would like to say something, and then after that you continue to answer the question. Probably some of the question, Mbak Rasya, you can answer too. It is just to make more more relaxed. Please, Pak Wija, the trade attaché, can you talk something? Then you continue, Pak Daniel.
Thank you, Pak Rahmat, for this opportunity. Thank you also for Daniel and Ibu Rasya for very interesting presentation. Perkenalkan, sebelumnya saya Wijayanto atau Super Perdagangan di KBRI Washington DC. Kami tentunya sangat senang, tadi mohon maaf terlambat karena ada kegiatan video conference yang lain. Tapi secara umum kami melihat bahwa presentasi ini sangat menarik dan tentunya menjadi peluang buat rekan-rekan diaspora yang ingin mengembangkan bisnis melalui platform di Amazon ini. Karena memang bahwa di era saat ini tentunya kita harus menggunakan berbagai inovasi di dalam kita melakukan promosi atau pemasaran produk kita, dan salah satunya bisa kita menggunakan Amazon ini. Dan memang kami sendiri sangat mendukung kegiatan ini. Terima kasih juga kepada teman-teman sekalian yang telah bergabung di grup IAA bisnis ini, sehingga IAA ini sehingga menjadi sebuah wadah yang cukup baik, dan kedepannya kami siap untuk mendukung dalam rangka juga upaya kita meningkatkan ekspor produk kita di Amerika Serikat. Itu saja barangkali Pak Rahmat. Kami mohon maaf karena tadi harus mengikuti video conference yang lain. Tapi kami siap untuk mendukung.
Ya, terima kasih. Also, bagaimana mencarikan funding juga Pak ya, untuk investor ya Pak ya.
Funding.
Oke, Pak, terima kasih Pak Wija. Maybe we can continue, Pak Daniel. Can you share with the Mbak Rasya which one that she can answer the question? There's a lot of questions. Yeah.
Rasya, do you see any questions you want to answer?
While we waiting for Mbak Rasya, Daniel, can you
Halo Mbak Rasya.
answer some of the questions?
Sure.
Oh, I think we see
Let me
you.
go back here.
Yeah, she might be muted.
Okay, lah.
Let's see, the next question I see
Oscar, can you
here is
help?
from Primasys Indonesia. You have to do multiple business.
Okay, but while we waiting for Mbak Rasya, Daniel, can you also answer some of the questions?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let me go back here.
It's okay, we can do that.
Let's see. The next question that I see here is from Primasys Indonesia. You have to do multiple business.
The next one that I see
I
here
think
is,
it's already answered before. It's
Oh,
already
really?
questioned.
All right.
I would say the first thing to do is
Mbak Rasya,
Okay. So the next question. You want to do some of these, honey?
if you're really serious about
No, it's okay. You can do that. I can.
okay.
Okay.
As an individual.
The next one that I see here is the best way to start when looking for products for retail arbitrage. I would say the first thing to do is to get your business entity. If you're serious, I mean, if you're really serious about this, you could also just do this if you're already living in the United States. You could also just do this as an individual. You don't have to set up a business. You could actually just do it as an individual, and you could be a non-professional seller. They have like amateur sellers, I think. And they charge like an extra $1 in their fees for amateur sellers. So as long as you don't sell more than 40 items in a month, it makes sense to do that. Once you go over 40 items per month, then it won't make any sense. In terms of retail arbitrage, I mentioned already, grocery items. Once you've actually got your account set up with Amazon, there's an application that you can actually put onto your smartphone. And you can literally walk into a Walmart, or you could walk into I would probably recommend walking into areas that are not a lot of people go to. Walmart's too common. I would actually try to find niches. I have an old mentor. He said, "The riches are in the niches." And so, if you can find a niche that nobody else has found, and you start selling that, you might be the only seller. Somebody else might also know about it. You can make a lot of money because you can actually make your price higher because you're not competing with many people, and so you make more profit. And so finding stuff that's outside of the normal. I mean, I know Indonesians. My wife was telling me a lot of Indonesians were asking about selling some of the food products from Indonesia, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's definitely a niche product. The only thing I would say is that right now you're competing with 37 other people that are in this group right now that are talking and seeing the same thing. And so you don't necessarily want to go and compete with people on the exact same idea. That's going to really put you out of business fast. So you're all going to drive the price down because everybody's going to be looking for the next sale, and it's not a good way to do it. So, purchasing noodles or something like that, if it's mie goreng is awesome food. But if you're going to be competing with other people on Amazon with 37 other sellers, that'll probably be a little bit rough. I'd recommend probably finding other types of products that are not necessarily just targeting the Indonesian audience. Also, you could target Thai audience. You could target people from Malaysia. Maybe there's some food products from Malaysia that you know about that nobody else knows about except for a few people. You could target. Yeah.
We go to ASEAN store before, and then we find soursop.
Yeah. We there was a soursop type of product which I had never, and that's the other thing. I never was aware of all these millions of different products that are out there until I started doing this. It really kind of opened my eyes. We had gone to, there's a like my wife said, there's not Indonesian, the Asian store. Yeah. And there was these soursop. They were glass, very thick type of glass with this soursop stuff, and it cost us about $10 for each one. And we were buying 3 of them. They're selling in a pack of 3, and so we packed them up into a pack of 3, and we were selling them for anywhere between $75 and $95. And can you believe that? People actually bought it, and they bought all of it. They bought everything that we had. And so using the tools that I was able to see, I could tell that it was going to sell, and eventually we ran out of stock. We bought out all the stores that we could find, and so we ran into a problem there. And then even after we started purchasing from the source online, we actually got a little bit burned at the end. We ended up having some that we couldn't sell because the original owner, he started selling on Amazon also, and he got us blocked off of it, but we still made money on it. And so even though we lost a little bit at the end, we still made more money than we lost, for sure.
Including story about we selling cereal.
Oh, you want me to tell that story?
Yeah.
So there, I think it was around 2015, there was a Rice Krispies, if you're familiar with Rice Krispies, the cereal. They stopped making Rice Krispies brown Rice Krispies, which, I think is a gluten-free type of Rice Krispie. And so a lot of people really wanted these Rice Krispies, and so I bought them. I could only buy them at one store. It was a Harris Teeter in this area, grocery store, and I bought up all the Harris Teeters, all of their stock. And, we were purchasing them for about $3 for each box. and we put them into packs of 4 or 6, and then we'd sell them for anywhere between $90 to $125. People that really want that Rice Krispie that's going out of stock, they're willing to pay large amounts of money for it. And so it's just one of the ways that you can make money. There's all types of different ways.
Make sure I'm not skipping some of the questions here.
Okay,
Let's
next.
see.
I think the
Next question.
worst experience I've had with this business. I would say that the worst experience.
There is no
I've had
fee.
with this business,
Let me see here.
probably sitting in my basement right
Do you add your store to Facebook? Okay, so make sure I'm not skipping some of the questions here. I think the worst experience I've had with this business. I would say that the worst experience I've had with this business was probably sitting in my basement right now. There's a product that we private labeled probably about 5 or 6 different products. It's not that it's really that bad. I just haven't put any effort or energy into it. I've got a doll that actually, it's an 18-inch doll, African doll. It was actually selling really well when we first started the private label on, and we sold out of all of it, and I made another order, but I wasn't putting much time and effort into it, especially on the advertising side. And so now, basically, the listing has died. And so I think we sell maybe 2 of these dolls every year, and we've got about 50 of them in stock. So that's probably my worst. Probably my worst experience with this business. It's I could claim it as a loss, and obviously that would be something that's possible for anybody to do. The idea, of course, is to get it to the point where you're doing about 95% positive purchases, and maybe 2 to 5% is negative stuff. You will make some mistakes in terms of what you're doing. The idea is to get yourself as educated as possible so that you make less mistakes. And you can't be. It is a marketplace. Everybody has. There's always going to be some wins and some losses in a marketplace. But the idea here is, the beautiful thing about Amazon is that there's so many tools to tell you how fast something sells, and there's so many different ways to be able to approach the market that you can really design your own business model, and it would be just for you in terms of what works for you. In terms of the next question, let's see, do you have a software to determine what products are selling turn quickly, or do you have a method to find out what type of products would be good to sell? Yeah, you do. There's actually softwares. I'm glad you brought I recommend whenever you're using, your computer to determine things, and there's different. When I mean by computer, I'm not talking about not just the laptop, but I'm also talking about the phone. There's different software programs. One of them is an accounting program that we use. We have to pay $50 a month for. It's called Inventory Lab, inventorylab.com. And they have a very, very good software that you can install also on your phone, which allows you to really streamline your processes in terms of shipping things into Amazon. But they're really good in terms of how fast their software works when you're sourcing. And so you can use that. They have a program that comes with Inventory Lab called Scoutify. And then there's also, you want to make sure that you're always using a Google Chrome browser. Chrome has, the beautiful thing about Chrome is that it has so many different extensions that are both free and then some premium ones that do cost some money, which I do recommend once you're actually setting up your business in a serious way and you're doing a serious volume. One of them is
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just looking it up. I'm trying to remember the name of it off the top of my head. There's Jungle Scout. That's a big one. That'll tell you, for instance, if you see a sales rank, it'll access the sales rank and it'll tell you how many times per day it sells. So that you can actually figure out what the sales volume is for that particular product. And there is actually a free version of it, and then there's also a cost version of it. There's another one that I recommend to people, which is when you're purchasing online and you're selling on Amazon. I mentioned the online arbitrage model. There's one called Rev, ROI. So Rev or Rev ROI, basically I think that costs $120 a year, so $10 a month. The beautiful thing about that is that that software program will make you money. What you can do every time you go and you're purchasing something online, click on the button, and it'll tell you the best cashback site for that particular seller, for that particular company, to give you money back on your purchase. So you'll be making money. You know, sometimes I just purchased something that was 30% off. They're having a sale, plus they're additional 6% off. So it's 36% off of what they already have for buy two, get one free. I mean, that's an incredible deal. And of course, I was looking at what it sells for on Amazon, and I already knew I was going to make money on it just by that. So Rev ROI, that also helps you to find gift cards. A lot of people don't realize this, but you can also use gift cards for your purchases at times. There are companies that sell gift cards that are reputable companies, and they will offer discounts in the gift cards themselves. There's been times where we purchased with gift cards, and we had 20% off just with the gift cards. You could have 20% off with the gift card, plus you can have another, whatever sales are going on that particular website. As you can see, you can really bring the price down of what you're purchasing. So it's kind of amazing what you can do in terms of what you can find with these types of softwares. So I would not think of the $120 spend as anything more than an expense, because it'll make you, if you're doing enough volume, it'll make you thousands of dollars. I think we've probably, since we started this in about 2005, I think we've probably gotten back about $20,000 or $30,000 of cash back from these cashback companies. So it's quite a large number that you can actually accumulate back in terms of cash back. And I could go into a lot more detail, but it would take a lot more time. So I'll leave it at that for that.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you source your products from China, do you have to go through customs? Yes, you do. Obviously, there are certain products that even have tariffs on them, and you have to work that out with your supplier. Anywhere that you're basically sourcing from, especially China nowadays with the president that we have, you're going to be seeing tariffs that'll be for some products. I'll definitely be on there. My Facebook, I don't have a Facebook group, but I was actually, just before we came on this, I was actually thinking about starting a Facebook group. But I'm not going to lie to you. If I'm going to do such a thing, I would actually charge for entrance to Facebook. I wouldn't actually do it for free, because this is a lot of work and effort I put into it in terms of getting this knowledge. So if I'm imparting this to people, I'm gonna charge a little premium for it. The next question from Mohammed Rugroho. My question is simple. My sister is producing homemade industry. How do I sell to Amazon through you? Should I bring delivery, mail the stuff to your place? That's possible. I'd have to look at what you're talking about. You can contact me or my wife afterwards. I'm sure she's going to continue to come on to this group, and so she's available, and I'm available if you want to reach out to me as well. Yeah, that's no problem at all. Like I said before, I'm willing to look at anything that you're looking to do. If you're looking for a distributor, I can definitely serve as that for this particular channel. And next question, let's say we have a pile of products that we ordered from China at the Amazon warehouse, and for some reason products don't sell. Will they return the products to owner or back to supplier in China? They're going to return it to you, and if they don't return it to you, then they're going to destroy it, and then they might sell it to me. There's literally $1 billion, it's literally $1 billion with a B industry for liquidation from Amazon. Every year, Amazon sells about $1 billion of liquidation, and I've purchased as much of it as I could. I've purchased it in the past. It is a little bit risky. I've stopped doing it for the most part. I still do it a little bit with people that I trust, but I've definitely gotten burned before, and it is possible to get your account suspended over that stuff like that, because you can't show that it actually is a reputable product that way. If you ever have to actually verify to Amazon, sometimes Amazon will come after you if the customer complains, and especially when your account is new, they have less tolerance for new sellers. So you really need to have have yourself in business for a while. Do business in a reputable way for a long period of time with a large volume before you actually consider doing stuff through liquidation. It's dangerous. I'm not recommending it to anybody, especially for people who are brand new, who do not do this before.
You can definitely do that.
Let's see. Do your ads, your store at Facebook? If it is, how much do you spend? That's a good question, and I think I talked about it very briefly earlier. If you're doing private label, or even if you have a wholesale account, which you're exclusive to, you can definitely do that. And in fact, it's actually cheaper to do it on Facebook, especially now after the COVID-19 breakout. Advertising on Facebook has become a lot cheaper, at least for now. I may go back up as the economy recovers. But Facebook is definitely a cheaper way if you actually know how to use Facebook for advertising. We did advertising for our mattress store through Facebook exclusively, and we had a lot of success with that, with our mattress store, at least the first 2 years. And we still have the mattress store, it's just that we alhamdulillah, we ran into an issue where our lease was ending right at the time that the COVID-19 breakout happened, and I said, no way am I going to renew the lease right now. So I just stopped the lease, and we took all of our products out and put it into storage. But if anybody's interested in buying a really cheap mattress, I'll sell you my mattresses at cost in the Washington, D.C. area. I'll sell them to you at my wholesale cost. If you're really interested, I'll get rid of it. You're buying it wholesale, so it is possible to do that. How many do you need in a house?
You should sell.
I don't have them in my house, although I have some of them in my house. I have 2 storage lockers right now over at U-Haul that I've got them stored in. And so yeah, I've still got, especially on the queens, I've got a lot of queens. I've only got like 1 or 2 kings left, but I've got a lot of queens and I've got a few fulls and twins. So that's not a terrible idea, but all that involves time, and since I'm not really into that type of thing, there's only so much time in the day, you know. Let's see.
There would be a fee if you sign up as a professional seller. So I don't
scroll back up here.
At the beginning. I recommend doing the non-professional.
Can you walk through the process of signing up as an Amazon vendor? Is there a fee? There's no fee for signing up as an Amazon seller. There would be a fee if you sign up as a professional seller, so I don't recommend doing that at the beginning. I recommend doing the non-professional, and you can sign up even as an individual, as long as you're a U.S. individual. They're probably going to want to verify that you are a real human being, because there's been a lot of scams on Amazon, especially from Chinese sellers. There's been a huge amount of scams on Amazon from the Chinese. And so now they've really locked it down. They will basically, you may have to show them a utility bill or for your house, or you may have to, obviously you probably have to give them credit card information. They usually want to have that on file as well. So you really have to do quite a bit in terms of making sure that they can verify that you're a real person. And, just be aware of that. But it is possible. You can just go to sellercentral.amazon.com and you can sign up there, and you can get started that way.
Okay, but Daniel, we still have a time till because we started late. Right now it's 7:23. So is that possible? We end on the 7:40.
That's fine by me.
Yeah. Then maybe we can select the question that really basically. I have here like a really good question. Which model is better for someone getting started or trying to do the Amazon business? Do you have any idea what? And then what is the typical investment that we have to start it? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000?
Right. And that's a good question. These are excellent questions. I would personally recommend doing it the way that I mentioned. I mentioned that private label is very risky, and even somebody had a question here about their product sitting at the Amazon warehouse. What's going to happen with it is going to be sent back to the Chinese supplier. That's what happens to people who have not been trained on how to do this properly. You have to be able to source good product. You have to have good listings, because you can create your own listings. You have to have professionally made pictures. And then a lot of the time, depending on the product that you're actually purchasing, you have to examine your competition, who you're competing with for these products. So private label is not necessarily the way to do it, because there's a lot of stuff to examine before you actually pull the trigger on it. It's very easy to make an oversight or something like that that could literally cost you tens of thousands or thousands of dollars. I don't personally recommend it, especially when you don't know what you're getting into. That being said, you know, I mentioned the retail. I mentioned it's my favorite. Retail arbitrage is my favorite. I can't do it right now because of the whole COVID-19 thing, and my wife won't let me go outside the house. But you know, basically, for us, I've got it down now to I've got one place where I do almost all of my retail arbitrage, and I buy so much from that one store that I don't need to go anywhere else at this point. I drive there, and it takes me about an hour to get there, and I spend probably 3 to 5 hours every time I go there over at that location. I usually purchase somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 worth of stuff, and then bring it back, and we pack it up, and it's gone. So, you know, right now I'd recommend, since obviously everybody's dealing with the whole COVID-19 thing, I would recommend the online arbitrage.
Sorry about that. I don't know why it muted me all of a sudden.
Hello?
What was the last thing you heard?
Halo, Pak Daniel.
You don't recommend
Hello?
selling the.
Oh, you can hear me?
Sourcing outside.
Yeah.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I don't know why it muted me all of a sudden. What was the last thing you heard?
Purchasing online is probably the best way to do it. That's what we're doing right now. I've retooled us in terms of, you know, where we're purchasing our
Sourcing outside. You're not.
Oh yeah. So I mean, sourcing outside right now is obviously not that great of an idea. Purchasing online is probably the best way to do it. That's what we're doing right now. I've retooled us in terms of, you know, where we're purchasing our stuff from. And we made some changes to adjust our model a little bit once we go with the coronavirus thing and not going out to the stores as much. And so, you know, we're basically having it all shipped to our house, and we're packing it up myself. My poor wife is packing it all up, and I'm packing up some of it. And so, you know, we're doing it that way, and that's what I would recommend to people. We actually, we also have a reputable, and if somebody was to come to me, you know, wanted to have me coach them, I could get them onto the list for it. We have a reputable list where there are businesses that people actually create where they actually do the investigating for you, and they have a limited number of people that are actually doing this. So they'll have a list of people that's like 35 people, and they'll charge each person about $120 a month or $150 a month. And you'll receive lists with links to Amazon and to where to purchase it from. And it's so easy that you can literally just click on the link, you make your purchase, it'll arrive at your house, and you'll sell it on Amazon, and you don't even have to put any work into it. It's the easiest way in the world I've ever found to make money. And it's available, but it's limited access. It's not something that, like, a lot of people have access to, and it's deliberate that way. You don't want a lot of people doing it, because then if 10,000 people saw it, well, then you can be sure there's going to be so many people flooding the listing, and the price will go down, so basically you're making no money or even take a small loss because those people are trying to get out. And so you want to make sure that it's something that's exclusive. The information, though, you don't have to do it this way. If you put the time and effort and energy into it, you could save the $150 a month, and you can just find stuff, like I said, on Amazon that you could find. You just basically cut and paste, and you can find these products yourself. I personally did it manually myself yesterday, just finding a sale. I received an email from one of the companies that I purchased from before. I think it was actually Tarte Cosmetics. You can look that up. And Tarte, I think it was Tarte, maybe it was a different company. It was buy two, get one free, and they all have different sales like this all the time. And so, you know, you can basically use what I already mentioned before with the Rev ROI software to be able to find, like, there's cashback sites like topcashback.com, Rakuten, Frugal. All of those websites give cash back, and I even look over the different ones, which one gives me the most cash back. And so I can check the percentages to see which one I'm going to go with when I actually make my purchase. So I do recommend the online arbitrage model for people that are getting started. It does not require a lot of money up front. And, you know, obviously the time frame is longer, because retail arbitrage, you have it in your hand immediately. purchased it as store, and you can send it in immediately to Amazon. You can ship it off. With online arbitrage, you have to wait for it to arrive to you. Then you have to pack it up. Then you have to ship it off to Amazon. That whole process can take 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how fast you pack it up.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, Pak Daniel, thank you so much. Before we close, I just want to, is there any, Pak Rasya, can you
Ya, Mas.
add one more, something else?
Mungkin lebih ke yang saya maksud itu mungkin lebih ke komitmen dan kesabaran aja. Jadi kalau memang mau mulai, kita harus komit juga ngejalaninnya. Yang tadi kadang kita lost, kadang kita mesti move on aja gitu. Ketika kita mulai, kita susah nyari sourcing barang, atau susah atau kita lost karena harganya jadi turun dan kita nggak making money atau sejenis itu, atau customer return. Jadi mesti move on karena pastinya nanti akan ketutup dengan untung-untung yang lain gitu. Jadi mungkin itu aja kalau mau memulai, dan saya yakin teman-teman di sini yang udah ngejalanin bisnis itu pasti punya pengalaman yang lebih dari yang saya sebutin, yang kita sebutin. Jadi saya yakin teman-teman bisa.
Okay.
I've also put my email in there right at the bottom. So if anybody wants to contact me, I put in the Gmail address you can contact me at. If you want to reach out to me, I know some people I did not get to answer their questions. There was a supplier in Bali. I know he mentioned he's interested, and he can contact me at that email address. I'm available.
Maybe you can put email that company email, so it's not go to the.
Well, I mean that's how we do, but it doesn't matter. I can do this too.
Okay.
So it's not double.
Oke, teman-teman, Mbak Rasya, terima kasih tadi menambahkan.
Sama-sama.
Bagi teman-teman sekalian, terutama yang teman-teman di Indonesia, kami mengharapkan teman-teman di Indonesia yang ada pertanyaan lebih lanjut karena mereka ingin mengadakan dealing bisnis dengan teman-teman di sini. Mbak Rasya, Pak Daniel terbuka. Juga mungkin teman-teman yang lain yang ingin mau, silakan. Inilah gunanya kita connecting the dots supaya teman-teman Indonesia juga bisa bertemu dengan teman-teman kita di sini kayak Mbak Rasya, Pak Daniel bisa membantu melewat jalurnya Amazon untuk meneruskan. Tetapi bagi teman-teman yang ingin belajar lebih dalam tentang bisnis Amazon ini, Pak Daniel sama Mbak Rasya ini menyediakan waktu atau dia mempunyai satu one-on-one coaching gitu. Silakan nanti bisa menghubungi email yang ada di sana. Silakan berhubungan langsung ataupun mengadakan bisnis yang lain. Nah, Bapak Ibu sekalian dan teman-teman yang saya cintai semuanya, di next series kita nanti kita akan mengundang teman kita 2 orang, yaitu Mas Emil yang mempunyai 4 software restoran dengan banyak pegawainya dari teman-teman Indonesia, dan juga Mas Daniel Kurniawan, dia juga punya 10 restoran yang tersebar di East Coast ini. Dia juga punya karyawannya sudah lebih dari 100 orang, dan bagaimana rahasia mereka untuk bisa sukses ini nanti akan kita jabarkan di sini sekalian. Karena di daerah East Coast ini banyak sekali restoran Indonesia dan bisnis makanan yang mungkin bisa belajar dari mereka semuanya. The next-nya mungkin kita akan undang satu distributor besar di California yang mereka import barang dari Indonesia sekitar 50 kontainer per bulan, produk makanan dan makanan olahan dan sebagainya. Nanti kita akan belajar dari mereka juga, jadi dari perusahaan itu namanya Takari. Mungkin sudah ada yang dengar. Di sana ada Takari, ada Empire, ada Jans. Nah, mereka ini adalah pengusaha-pengusaha Indonesia yang membawa masuk produk Indonesia ke Amerika, dan dia perusahaannya ke Kanada, Amerika, dan Meksiko. Kita nanti akan belajar banyak dari mereka. Baiklah, teman-teman yang saya cintai, terima kasih kehadiran. Sebelum ditutup, mungkin Mas Oscar mau ingin menyampaikan sesuatu?
Empower the community through business and workshops, and hopefully there's more people that we can share.
Sama-sama, Mas.
And anybody want to learn more, I'm sure
Sama-sama.
this allocated time is not enough for everybody to learn something, but
Insyaallah.
they can contact Daniel and Rasya directly. They're very
Yes.
helpful.
Yeah, I believe also, Mas Oscar, you record the recording this program, right?
Yes, this is recorded, so
Okay.
and I'll
Okay,
put it
so
on
we can share
YouTube. So
after that.
yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Dan.
and then
Thank you, Dan and Rasya.
Question, can we make a group?
Yeah, I believe
Special for
I
this?
believe also, Mas
Yeah.
Oscar, do you record the recording this
Okay.
program, right?
Bapak Ibu sekalian, terima kasih. Selamat
Okay, so we can share after that.
Teman-teman berpuasa, kami
Yeah, and then the there's
selamat berpuasa.
question.
Kiranya semua sehat.
Can we make a
Jaga
group?
kesehatan.
What's
Mas
group
Emil, Mas
special for
Dania
this?
is your
They have a
next, ya.
question there.
Terima kasih.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Oke,
Assalamualaikum.
Bapak Ibu
Ya,
sekalian,
selamat
terima
berbuka
kasih.
puasa semuanya.
Selamat beraktivitas bagi yang teman-teman berpuasa. Kami mengucapkan selamat berpuasa. Kiranya semuanya sehat-sehat, jaga kesehatan. Mas Emil, Mas Daniel, is your next ya. Terima kasih.
Bisa nih.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pak.
Thank you.
Sama-sama.
Terima kasih ya.
Di pin aja. Jadi
Selamat
yang di tengah
buka
ini,
puasa
kalau
ya.
misalnya
Selamat buka puasa.
gambarnya Pak Rahma di tengah itu di unpin aja yang sebelah kiri hijau. Jadi kalau ke pin berarti
Mas
nempel
Oscar
terus.
tadi kalau saya nggak bisa ngelihat gambarnya ya.
Di tengah-tengah
Tadi Mas bisa lihat
gambar.
semuanya.
Gambar
Oh
Pak
oke,
Rahmat
oke,
kalau
yang
bisa
penting
di
itu aja.
tengah.
Yang penting teman-teman bisa.
Ada pinnya,
Oke,
itu di
so-
unpin aja.
Oh, nah, Pak, saya tadi cuma pengen melihat yang lain.
Data saya.
good.
Sebelum
Thank you. So, nanti saya
Kenapa?
coba upload. Ternyata ini stream juga, tapi nggak nongol. Tapi
Oh, saya nggak lihat.
lagi ngetes.
Oke, dari Bali Sarong.
Oh.
Halo Mbak. Terima kasih.
Kok masih banyak
Oh,
pertanyaan?
nggak Pak. Saya tadi cuma pengen ngelihat yang lain untuk bicara.
Ngomong dari Bali Sarong. Dari
Oke.
Bali ya?
Oke.
Di unmute aja silakan.
Di unmute.
Oke, ini dari Bali Sarong. Halo Mbak. Terima kasih.
Itu ada.
Di sana sore ya?
Ada yang
Ya, udah
Malam udah
bisa
malam
ngomong
juga.
dari Bali Sarong. Dari Bali ya?
Ya,
Di unmute.
dari Bali.
Oh, dari Bali. Aduh, senang sekali bisa gabung.
Halo
Iya,
Mbak.
ya.
Kak Nat.
Ya,
Apa namanya?
selamat sore. Di sana sore ya, Pak?
Ya, udah malam. Jangan
Malam.
8, nggak apa-apa.
Selamat dari Bali.
Oh, dari Bali. Aduh, senang sekali bisa gabung.
Iya.
Tadi Mbak siapa namanya yang tadi?
Inung.
Mbak Inung, saya punya beberapa teman yang punya bisnis di Amazon yang ada di Jakarta. Nanti Mbak kalau saya kasih nomor telepon saya nanti atau
baik.
lewat Mas Oscar, nanti saya hubungi teman-teman yang punya bisnis. Termasuk besar sekali mereka. Mereka tergabung dalam Nudira namanya.
Iya, Sarung Pantai banyak
Iya,
saya
iya,
kirim.
iya.
Iya, terima kasih. Saya banyak kirim ke Hawaii, Meksiko.
Berapa besar produk sarungnya di sana? Berapa banyak?
Saya setiap bulan mungkin sekitar 20-30 ribu.
Oke. Waduh,
Sarung?
Jadi,
Iya, sarung
ada
pantai
di sini
banyak saya
perwakilan.
kirim sama baju
Ada
juga.
perwakilan di
Saya
sana.
banyak kirim ke Hawaii, Meksiko,
Oke.
yang terbesar ya, Australia,
Mbak pasti punya partner.
Ya, ya.
dari
Partner
Texas.
Oke. Waduh, bagus. Kalau
Tapi
di-
wholesale.
bisa chat di sini
Kenapa?
nomor HP-nya, Mas Oscar.
ada perwakilannya?
Saya tidak ada perwakilan di sana, semua bayar aja. Di Target.
Mbak pasti punya partner.
Lumayan sih.
Kalau nanti butuh partner dari sini nanti mungkin teman-teman di IAA bisa gabungkan.
produknya udah close.
Bisa chat di situ nomor HP-nya Mas
Ya,
Oscar,
Costco
kita
yang
bisa
mana
chat.
ya? Costco itu saya tadi sudah masukin.
Juga ya?
Barang di Costco, di Target,
Iya,
ya lumayan sih. Saya sudah
mereka-
ada inspeksi
Oh, dari-
yearly
Lalu langsung kirim
inspection.
ke Costco gitu. Mbak,
Ya, Costco yang paling banyak di Costco
Barangnya
itu
langsung
mereka
dikirim ke
sampai
Costco.
maksudnya karena cukup lumayan kuantitinya ada yearly inspection 2 kali ya untuk ininya dan social compliance.
Oke. Oh, that's good.
Ya.
Wah. Kenapa?
Costco-nya Costco terbatas atau
Barangnya enggak, barangnya kita ada kayak buyer dan buyer yang masuk ke Cuman tetap inspection produk dan GMP dan compliance-nya di kita.
Costco udah berapa Costco, Mbak?
Saya masih yang Costco di Hawaii aja.
Oh, cuma lokal aja. Jadi untuk apa? Untuk eksibisi aja mungkin itu.
Enggak, masuk di Costco, masuk di sistem, tapi hanya di Honolulu aja, di Hawaii aja.
Ya kayak karena Hawaii kayak Bali soalnya ya.
Nah, jadi mungkin karena produknya lebih banyak ke sana ya. Tapi yang garment di beberapa negara Amerika yang lain, beberapa negara baik.
Bagus kita ini mungkin sebagian yang masih bisa terus saja nggak apa-apa. Jadi Mbak bisa sharing nanti bisa tambah yang lain. Yang lain juga mau tanya tentang sarung silakan. Kalau
saya cuma belajar dari Shark Tank. Untuk masuk Costco itu susah. Tapi kalau udah masuk dan itu satu store, makanya saya tanya eksibisi ataukah udah memang ada perjanjian untuk long term atau cuma ada batasannya gitu loh.
Awalnya waktu mereka ini bukan saya yang punya account dengan Costco ya, tapi buyer saya. Cuman awalnya memang betul dia dari exhibition. Jadi setelah beberapa kali dan sellingnya bagus, mereka kasih kesempatan bagi buyer saya untuk jadi kayak full kayak lebih di sana karena penjualannya cukup bagus ya. Ini sudah tahun ke-5 atau ke-6 mungkin. Jadi awalnya kita cuman nggak ada inspection, tapi setelah jumlahnya banyak itu tiap tahun kita ada inspection dari untuk GMP sama social compliance. Ya, itu ya karena kita home industry tapi ditantang untuk jadi kayak profesional gitu itu, dan kalau social compliance dan GMP itu berat, susah maksudnya lumayan banget itu. Kita sampai walaupun sarung pantai kita harus masuk kayak metal detector, itu harus punya. Jadi setiap produk, setiap bisnis itu harus masuk ke metal detector. Semua requirement yang naik. Jadi bagi payment kali ya.
Ya tadi Mbak tadi Pak Wija atas perdagangan akan sangat senang membantu Mbak untuk bisa masuk ke Amerika lebih jauh. Ya,
kalau bisa masuk ke sana ya, cuman karena kan memang payment kali ya, kalau yang store chain store gitu kan paymentnya tuh pasti nggak pakai ada termnya gitu. Sedangkan kalau saya dengan buyer kan cepet gitu langsung.
Ya.
Yang mungkin juga sesuatu yang ya oke sih masih bisa, cuman apakah nanti dibayar nggak sih gitu kan, takut juga kan. Dan seperti kami teman-teman sekarang nih Pak, dengan adanya COVID yang barang ready sudah mau berangkat 5 kontainer kurang 5 hari di stop, nggak bisa berangkat. Memang. Ya, kalau saya karena melalui buyer ada 2 kontainer yang harusnya berangkat, itu oke, dia masih bisa terima, maksudnya dia akan bayar dan terima barangnya, kita fitting seperti scheduling.
Mbak bisa tahu acara kita dari siapa, Mbak?
Saya di-share sama teman saya. Nah, justru teman saya dapat dari mana saya nggak tahu. Terus ya saya tertarik karena saya memang pernah jualan di Amazon juga, cuman masih kayak terbatas sekali kuantitas
Ya. Di sini ada teman kita orang Indonesia 2, yang satunya tuh Mas Didi yang sudah punya fulfillment by Amazon, yang adiknya dia juga bisnisnya kayak Mas Daniel sama Mbak Rasya tadi. Kalau yang Mas siapa itu Mas Agus namanya itu sudah penjualan udah sampai hampir 3 juta US.
Hebat sekali.
Ngeri.
Iya, mestinya Mas Agus bisa sharing itu juga.
Ya, nanti kita lagi cari waktunya untuk dia bisa ikut. Tapi yang juga mungkin yang lain dari Indonesia, saya lihat ini Joshua Randy Pradipta ini dari Indonesia. Mungkin mau sharing silakan. Atau yang lain yang dari Indonesia. Kira-kira ada yang pertanyaan yang bisa kita bantu di sini?
Recordingnya itu, Mas Oscar kalau boleh di-share, jadi kita bisa.
Kalau Muhammad Sakit, sampai nih Mas.
Kita taruh di YouTube sama yang sebelumnya.
Oke. Oke, Mbak, kalau nggak ada lagi?
Oke, baik.
Saya cuma mau itu recordingnya itu, Mas Oscar kalau boleh di-share. Jadi kita bisa yang tadi Mas
Terima kasih,
Teguh telat.
Pak juga.
Kita belajar bareng.
Ya.
Oke.
Terima kasih.
Oke, thank you,
Sampai
thank
next
you.
time semuanya. Assalamualaikum.
Oke, baik teman-teman semuanya. Terima kasih semuanya. Mas Oscar, Presiden.